Introduce yourself for me.
I'm Bonnie Williams, the ex-wife of Stanley Tookie Williams, the founder of the sister group to the Crips called the Criplets.
For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf, I know them killers you kin to. This for the lost generation, broke as hell, man.
Lifting weights and I was on swole, they start calling me Big Miz.
Kev Mac video, you know. Kev Mac video, open your soul.
This is only the beginning.
Okay, before we get started, tell us about your future endeavors that you was just talking to me about.
Well, right now I'm in the process of writing my book, something that I've been anticipating on doing for years, but I finally sat down and began to write. So that's where I'm at now, and just planning to get back out there and do some work in the community and podcast. Just kind of get involved again.
Okay, and you knew Blackie and Buddha and Monkey Man. Who were some of the other big names around here back then?
Warlock, Sweetback, James Cunningham, Big Bob, Bimbo, Eric Williams, Baycott, who was down there? Let's see, Erskine, Mad Dog, rest in peace. Who else do we have? Melvin Hardy. Those were all the guys I grew up with. I mean, I spent more time with them than I did my own brothers. Seriously.
She rambled off the whole St. Andrews School.
Yeah, exactly.
So, tell us where you were born and where you were raised at.
I was born in California, always born and raised here in California. I grew up in Watts, actually. A lot of people don't know that, but I grew up in the Imperial Courts. And then at about late 60s, we moved over to the West Side. And I moved on 109th in Butlong, and I attended Woodcrest Elementary. But let me go back. I went to Grape Street Elementary. Then I graduated elementary school from Woodcrest. So I think my parents moved over here right after. It wasn't right after the riots, but I know that was a factor when we got up out of there. But it was a few years after that we came to the West Side. Okay. And I've been here ever since.
Okay. Do you know your family roots before they made it to California?
Oh, my mom was from Shreveport, Louisiana, and my dad was from Wright City, Oklahoma. So yeah.
And do you know what made them migrate to California and when?
Ooh, I don't know when. But I know for my dad, he had lost his mom died when they were kind of young. So he and his siblings kind of went off to different family members. My mom was just coming for a better life because her husband at that time was like an entrepreneur. And he came out, he brought her here for a better life, like most of us, for a better life. So yeah.
And when they came, that's where they landed at, in Imperial Courts?
No. They landed at Dogtown. I wasn't born. They landed down in, I guess it would be East LA, huh? Yeah, they landed in East LA. They came to 23rd Street and then Dogtown. So I remember they called them the Aliso Village. That's when I was a baby. I was on 23rd. And that's where I was, actually I was born there. I was born in East LA. And that's where they first migrated to when they came to California, was East LA.
So when you say you was born in East LA, are we talking about the Dogtown Projects or are we talking about Aliso Village?
I was born on 23rd Street, then we moved to Dogtown Projects. So I was born in White Memorial Hospital.
Me too.
White Memorial, yeah.
Okay, so when did you guys make it to Imperial Courts?
I was born 56. It had to be 50. 69. I think my sister told me was I 3 or 5? So I want to say, no, 5. I want to say it was more like 61.
Oh wow! So this is before the Watts ride.
Oh yeah. Projects was fun. Oh God, it was fun.
Tell us about it.
Growing up in the
projects before the
man, the
riots.
projects before the riots, before gang banging was lit, as y'all say now. We had never a dull moment. We had everything right there. We had the playground, we had the gym, we had the Girl Scout, Boy Scout, we had trips, and everything was right there. You didn't have to go anywhere. So when the way the projects was really designed, and I haven't did research, you may have and I'm sure it was other nationalities there before we went, but it would have been perfect to raise your children because you didn't have to leave home. Your parents could look out the door, whistle or whatever, and street lights come on, to go in the house. We skated through the projects and go to the playground, and you played, and yeah.
You made a comment. You said you guys were in the projects before there were gangs. Were you just not aware of it, or it was really gang free?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to say, I shouldn't say it before they were gangs, because my older brother and them, they were in gangs, but it was different. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't gunplay. It was more like territory. You know what I'm saying? What we call hood, still hood, but they did more fighting. I remember my older brother, but my oldest brother he caught a murder when I was a little girl. And back then, they did, like for murder, he got 7 to life. He did his 7 years, paroled, and he never went back. I remember going to what I thought was probably another state. I think he was in Chino during that time. And we would go on Sundays, and I thought it was a picnic. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was fun. My mom then would pack up all this food, and we would go, and they had benches, and we would eat, and he would come out, and I didn't understand them, but it was like a picnic.
How many siblings do you have?
9.
Oh, wow.
9.
And you guys were all in the projects together?
All in the projects together. I'm the baby out of 9. And what's funny, my dad married my mom with 8 children. I was number 9 and his only child. Wow. And growing up, no one knew that. They all thought that, he was all of our father.
What did your parents do for a living back then?
My dad worked for Aero Chevrolet. And so he was in the car industry. My mom did day work. I remember her doing, they called it day work now, it's housekeeping or maids. And I would go with her, like if I was out of school for whatever reason, and I thought I was going to another world, but we would be right on the bus going right over here to Hollywood or probably Culver City. But yeah, she did day work.
So what year did you guys move from Imperial Courts and land in the hundreds?
I want to say, I was trying to calculate this. I want to say, when was Kennedy killed?
63.
Okay, so it was after Kennedy. I want to say 60.
And the rise was 65.
Okay, no. So it was after we was there for 65. I want to say about 60. I'm trying to figure out when I would have. I graduated from Woodcrest, so we had to be about 11 or 12, right? So that would put me at 68, 69. That's when we came over. 68, 69, we came over to the West Side.
Tell us the difference between Imperial Courts and landing on the West Side.
Well, for me, landing on the West Side at that time, it was like, because we moved from the projects to a house right here on 109th in Normandy, a big house with this huge living room. And so that was cool, had a back house attached. So, and now I'm in elementary. So it was exciting because as a kid, you adjust. So as far as like missing the projects, I don't recall missing, because I think now we're like the Jeffersons. We're moving on up, right? So we eating a little better, have more space, and I'm in elementary, and I'm 10, 12, 11 years old. So I'm on, I'm changing, and then I got to Henry Clay.
Well, let's let's go over the neighborhood over here. What was the demographics when you first landed over here?
It was, when I landed on the west side, I didn't notice any, it was drugs. It wasn't gangs. When I landed on the west side here on 109, there was no gangs that I knew of. My brother and them still hung out in the projects in South Park, wherever they thing was. And I think that's when what I recall is the drugs coming in, the Red Devils, the True and all. So it was the drugs, the drug era for heroin. My sisters was heroin addicts, you know. So as a child, that's what I saw a lot of. That was my childhood trauma, seeing my sister overdose on heroin and they shoot milk in her veins. And,
Wow, they was doing that over here in the hundreds?
oh yeah, well we lived in the hundreds. They wasn't doing it. It was peaceful here during that time. They were probably on the east side in Watts, but when they would come home, that was just some of the things that I endured. But as far as gangs over here in the hundreds, 109th Street, it was older ladies, families. It was quiet.
Was white flight completed by the time you got here, or were there still some leftovers?
Still some, not a lot. It was still some. And actually, I was on the east side of Normandy. Now, you come over here where I'm at now, on west of Normandy. My neighbor, when I moved here, my neighbor was white. I still have a white neighbor now. But on that side, on the east side of Normandy, it wasn't, we didn't have any whites on our block over there.
How about Hispanic?
No.
I just want to show you this article real quick because it's on that side of Normandy.
Okay.
It's a 1972 article,
Uh-huh.
and it was an event with names. I just want to know if you know this event.
Okay.
And are you familiar with these names? You can scroll up or down. I kind of circled the names.
72. Killed on the playground there?
Right.
Elementary
I don't think that would be big news back then, no?
It should have been, but that was in 72.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the streets. We was cripping. I wasn't paying that no mind.
Okay, let's
That, I mean, seriously, I was lost in the sauce in 72.
okay, let's rewind now. Now we're at we're at Henry
Henry.
Clay. Tell us about Henry Clay and what years were you there?
Henry Clay was the beginning of my end. So I went to Henry Clay. I graduated. I went to Washington in 70. So we had to do 3 years. So I had to, would say 66, 67 to 1970 because I went to Washington in 70.
In the late 60s, early 70s.
My older sister had introduced me to the Truant and Red Devils. So at Henry Clay during that time, we were that's when it started. It was brewing. But it was the pill era and the weed, the marijuana. So yeah, that's what was going on at Henry Clay, yeah. And that's where I met Warlock Melvin Hardy and yeah, all them, Donald Moody, the Moody's. We were all at Henry Clay together.
The names you just name dropped in Henry Clay, were they an official group yet or just a bunch of friends that hung out together?
Just a bunch of friends that hung out together. And then they became what I found out later. I knew they hung together, but I didn't know they were smacks. So when I can't speak on the smacks, I know all of them, every last one of them, but they did hang together, but I didn't know that they were calling themselves the Smack because I was too busy trying to sell them pills at school because my older sister used to put a hole in the wall. We had a hole in our wall at home, and she would stuff the pills for me to sell in the hole so my mom couldn't find them. So
during your time at Henry Clay, there was no groups by names, just friends?
Friends, groups of friends, right.
When did that change?
In 19, I got to Washington 70. They get these dates mixed up. I know we're all kind of seasoned, but according to my calculation, and I was there, 1970, I was in the 10th grade at Washington. I hadn't met Tookie yet. Them pills got me kicked out of Washington, and I had to go over to Fremont. So my calculation is 71. They say all this 69 and all this, I don't know where that was going on at. It may have been happening on the east side. When I got to the east side, we was already Crips and Criplets.
So when you got kicked out of Washington, there was no Crips, but when you got to Fremont, that's when you first got exposed to it?
No, let me retract. When I got kicked out of Washington, there was no Crips. I went to Fremont. I meet Tookie while I'm over at Fremont. Yeah, I'm at Fremont, and my cousin had a class with him. He had got kicked out of whatever school he had went to. I think it was an all-boys school or something, but he was always bad.
Was it Reese?
May have been. So he had got transferred to Washington from some other school, and so my cousin calls me and she says, it all happened so fast. She says, I want you to meet this guy. And his name is Tookie. He's in my class, and he's smart. He do help me with my homework and this and that. And I'm like, okay, so I ditched school and came up there and I met him. And next thing I know, then we have the Crips.
At Washington.
At Washington. Then we meet up with Raymond and them. They come, what I remember, we at the Rio, because we would go to the Rio. That was our thing. We would go to some theater most of the time it was the Rio. We had another one, the Imperial Theater, we would hit up on Imperial.
What movies were they playing at the Rio show?
Sweetback. I wasn't watching, but anyway, Sweetback. We was up in there fighting. That's what we did. People come up in there and we have a fight in the bathroom and hang out and all that kind of stuff.
So let me rewind. When you're at Fremont, what's going on at Fremont at this time when you're there?
At Fremont, what was going on at Fremont, this is where Blackie come into play. I wasn't there. Because every morning I would leave home and I was supposed to take a bus to Fremont, and I would hit that corner, hit Vermont, go left, and go to 102nd, which was Blackie's house. And I was thinking about this on last night. Everything happened so fast. When I tell you within those, it was like a wildfire. Me meeting Tookie, the Crips, the murders, everything just started. That happened in such a short span. I was less than 5 years. Crippin' wasn't, it just exploded.
It didn't evolve. It was like,
oh my God.
You mentioned Blackie. Who is Blackie, and when did you meet him? Explain that relationship. Okay, Blackie, what we would call today a BFF. Blackie was my male BFF for two reasons. His mom worked, so that was the ditching house every day. We would sniff and glue. We would go over there and we would get high, and they would have whatever they did, a cupcake and couples, and yeah, that was the spot from 7 o'clock till school was out. That's where we went. What kind of glue was y'all sniffing? Oh Lord! And what kind of high is that? What would I could? I'm just curious. It was weird. It was kryptonite. They came out with the kryptonite, but the glue was some contact cement glue, I think it was. Yeah. And it was like, what can I compare it to? Would probably be more like crack or freebasing, because it would give you this rush, this head spin. Yeah, this yeah. So when you met Blackie, was he a loner, or did he already have his crew? And if so, who was this crew? When I met Blackie, if I recall, Blackie, Monkey Man, Buddha, they were kind of in the same circle because they all lived close by. So when I met Blackie, I knew Buddha because his brother and my brother were best friends.
So I knew Buddha, Monkey Man, Blackie, I think even before Tookie did.
I'm sure you did.
I believe I knew Blackie before Tookie, but he was pretty much, I think he was with Monk and Buddha.
Describe Blackie's personality and where he lived at.
That Blackie was cool. That was my boy. It's disappointing, but Blackie was really really a cool guy. Quiet. Blackie was pretty quiet. He was mean to everybody else, but me and him, we hit it off. Like I say, he would call me the night before, tell me which girls to bring, and that was a shame. I was acting like a
madam.
Yeah, and I did, because but I was being smart about it. I'm like, let me protect myself. So if I bring them, and they must have wanted to come, they kept coming, right? So I was protected.
You described Blackie's household as the ditch party house because the mom went to work. Where was the rest of the family? The father?
I'm sure Fleet, which was his stepdad, Fleet was at work. His sister Monica was at work, and Miss Coward worked right on Manchester at the bank. So she had no clue. And when I tell you, the house was immaculate, and we would be there every day. Every day. I don't even know how I got back to Washington, because I can't tell you what the inside of Fremont looked like. I really can't. I didn't go.
For the record again, where did Blackie live at?
102nd and between Vermont and Butler.
You mentioned Monkey Man being one of his buddies. Who's Monkey Man, and where did he live at? Monkey Man,
oh Willie. Monkey Man lived on 101st in Butler. I didn't meet Monkey, but I met Monk. I met Monk walking home from Washington before they put that fire station there. There used to be, it was just a dirt field. And he came up like in that movie, The Woods. He came up behind me. I kind of heard him. It was him, Buddha, Blackie may have been with them. And I kind of overheard him say something about, I'm going to slap her on her behind. And he did. And I chased him across Normandy. He ran down 107 to Butler, and I'm chasing him. And that's how I met Monk. And
his real name is Willie.
I think it's
Johnson?
William or Will. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Give us Buddha's personality and where did he live at?
Buddha lived on 105th between Normandy and Butler. Buddha was just cool. Buddha was a nice dresser. Buddha was spoiled. So his Miss Morris, Buddha was spoiled. So he had that. Buddha had an arrogance about him. For him and then when he got with Tookie, it didn't make it no better. To be honest, I didn't like him no more. Because I seen him change. I love him, don't get me wrong. I love him because he's my brother. But his attitude was not pleasant. He had an arrogance about him. Kind of snobby. Buddha was kind of snobby.
When did you find out Blackie came from Canada?
When I found out Blackie came from Canada was when the murders. Because he called me after the murders, and in our conversation he mentioned something. I didn't know he was a Canadian, and he says mentioned Canada. So I told him to run, because he said I don't know what to do. We were tight. He said, and at this point I didn't moved on. I have another kid with I'm in another relationship. So I told him to run. I said, well, if you're a Canadian, go to Canada. But he didn't do that.
All right. So let's rewind to the beginning of the Crips, according to Bonnie.
Yes.
When did you first become aware of the term Crips, and who were they, from your perspective?
I'm gonna say 71. I could be wrong. At the Rio, we went every Sunday. So we're at the Rio on a Sunday. Raymond and them come up there from the east side. Raymond, I'm sure, Hatchet Man, Craig, I don't know. I didn't know them, so I don't know how many. Wait a minute. Let me rewind, because Raymond used to irritate me at Fremont. So it had to. Maybe it was 70, because he would irritate me all the time. He wanted to shadow box, but that's another story. So they came up to the Rio on a Sunday, and the reason I know, because when we found out that Sunday that they was the Crips, that Monday. We got together and I said, well, went to my garage on 106, told my mom we're forming a social club, and we went back there and we came up with the Criplets. That Monday. So that's why I know for a fact when I found out it was on a Sunday. Now, after doing a little research, I believe that they had linked up that Friday at Washington. I wasn't there, or I wasn't around. I believe they had linked up that Friday, and then when Raymond and them came that Sunday, they had already got together. Solidified it, yes. So that Monday, like I say, that next day, we started the Criplets, and it was me, my cousin Michelle, Ella, Renee Berry, Pee Wee, Sissy wasn't even there, Claudia, these girls that lived on 94th, Claudia, I can't think of, Robin, which was James Cunningham's girl, she rest in peace, Robin, Karate Girl was Karate Girl? No, she wasn't there. But it was just a few of us. And from the east side, Pam Todd wasn't there. Jackie was there. She had a couple of her little homegirls with her. And did you guys click with the east side girls? Yeah. No drama? No drama. We didn't have any drama until I took one of their we took some leather jackets from them up in Hollywood, and some leather waistlines, and we going out to a party like months later, I would say, and one of the girls that Pam Todd brought to my house, she told Pam, she said, that's my jacket. We went on.
Let me rewind a little bit now. So when you guys are having these encounters with Raymond at the Rio show and solidifying the Crips at Washington High, who was the first lineup that you remember? Who was on deck those first days?
Oh, Jesus. Tookie, Melvin, Hardy, Warlock, Donald Archie, Big Bob, James Cunningham, Erskine, Eric Williams, the Moody's, Blackie. We got we lost a few. We had Buck. We had oh my God, my boy. Oh God, what's his name? He died. It's on the tip.
Padres around?
Padres right down the street. The Padres was around. Pookie. Oh shoot, I'm about that. Michael Conception. They were there. Bimbo.
How about Hawk?
Hawk was there. And oh my God, I'm missing a lot. I have to go. I usually go by sets, and then down there, because we would start walking, and when I tell you, we start on Imperial, walking. It may be 20 of us, and if we're going down to Florence, by the time we get to Florence, it's 50. Seriously, further on, we look up. We have 100. Now we mobbing. That's what we did.
So there's a dispute in the history circles on when the West Side was first formed. Tookie wasn't there for the initial meetings. He was in camp or in jail.
He was what?
That's what they said. Joyriding.
No.
He was there for the formation.
He was there. Okay. I mean, if I wouldn't have been there if he wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? Like, and somebody put it to me like this. Well, when we had that dispute about who was the first Criplet and all that stuff like that. Okay, well, if he wasn't the first Crip, I wouldn't have been the first Crip lad. You know, you kind of see what I'm saying? Because that was what it was.